Word is boarding, B-O-A-R-D-I-N-G. If you have a personal device, that would go on Sheraton Guest. And if you were at the hotel last night, you can just use your same password that's working. So the device for the draft, it's penalty box, and then boarding is the password. So if you can make sure, if you have any questions, just ask Greg Thompson or one of the members of Hockey Tech. Okay, we'd like to welcome everybody to the 2018 WHL Bantam Draft. Our first round will be live on our website. We'd like to offer a special thanks at this time to Derek Lebold, Jay Keller, and Alex Fluitt from Hockey Tech. They'll be administering the draft online for us. They'll be present at the tables as you make your selection, so if you have any questions, please ask them, or you can also ask Greg Thompson from our office. We will start live at 8:30 sharp. I will introduce Ron for the official league welcome. And then Ron will ask Jamie Novakoski of Edmonton to input their pick. And he'll come to the podium to make the first selection. I met with all the people making the first pick, but just so you're aware, they'll come up through the front. They'll make the selection, and then they'll come over by the trophy. Sam Cosentino of Sportsnet will do a brief one or two question interview with them, and then they'll go off the stage to the left, back to their seats. The next group will come up and we'll move through the first round in that order. We've given each team a binder at your table. That's for the general manager. If I could get you to quickly turn to tab 2 in the binder, tab 2 on page 1. I just have a few points I just want to make sure everybody's clear on before we start. So tab 2, page 1, point 5. From the second round on, the drafting club shall make their selection at your table via Hockey Tech, and then read out the selection on the microphone that will be given to you. We have a handheld mic that will be brought to you by one of our runners. And then I'll read the information again to make sure everybody has heard who the selection is. If you turn the page to point number 11, each club's allowed 1 minute per pick. You'll be allowed a timeout at the discretion of the WHL office. Just indicate that either on your tablet, or you can just raise your hand, just ask for a timeout. And if there's any technical issues, make sure you talk with the Hockey Tech person at your table or come up to the front to meet with him. If you do go to point 12, you can pass at any time. The draft will continue until all clubs have passed. And then very important, point number 17, it's each club's responsibility to make sure that their pick is eligible in the Hockey Tech system. So if you're making a pick, make sure that he's in there. If he's not in there, we won't accept the pick. If you have any questions for a pick later in the day, we still have some time where you can come and we can review that for you. And then I'd ask you to read points number 15 and 16 yourself. I won't make announcements on them, but it's very important that you're aware of how those two situations apply should they come up later on in the meeting. We have trade agreements for you in the back of the binder. Again, just get that completed, signed by both parties, bring it up to me. We'll try to get those photocopied and back to you. We'll also determine when the announcement will be made so you have sufficient time to notify the players. Other than that, we'll get started in about 6 minutes. got the cue on the 8:30 start?
You're good anytime, bro. When you're ready, can you follow your...
I've got 8:29. Is that what you got? Okay. Are we on, like, is it being shown right now?
We're live. It's not being shown.
If you clicked on our website right now, would you see a blank stage?
Yeah.
Okay, well then it's better if I just walk up to start as opposed to just standing there.
Well, right now, I just see this, whatever's on this side. This is what's streaming. So we have
Oh,
an
they
image up.
haven't, okay.
And then once you start,
So if I just pause for a second when I come up, that'll be good enough to, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just start in and that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to welcome you to the 2018 WHL Bantam Draft. We would also like to welcome the many viewers watching us on WHL webcast this morning. To open up the proceedings, I would like to call up the Commissioner of the Western Hockey League, Mr. Ron Robison.
Thanks very much, Rick. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2018 WHL Bantam Draft. Today is an extremely important day for all WHL clubs as they select the prospects that will soon form the nucleus of their rosters. It is also an important day for our top prospects throughout Western Canada and the United States as they wait to find out where they will embark on their WHL careers. For those players who are not selected in this year's draft, you should not be concerned as the evaluation of talent by our WHL clubs is an ongoing process. In fact, close to 25% of WHL club rosters consist of players who are not drafted in the WHL Bantam Draft. Prospects should also not be concerned about which team you are selected by in the draft, as all of our 22 WHL clubs do an outstanding job of providing a positive environment for players to develop both on and off the ice. That is why the WHL sets the standard for the player experience from both a development, education, and environment standpoint, and is the #1 destination for the top prospects in the system. As the leading supplier to the NHL, Canada's national teams, and Canadian university hockey programs across the country, and the leading provider of hockey scholarships, the WHL is by far the first choice for top prospects to develop from both a hockey and an academic standpoint. On behalf of our 22-member WHL clubs, we would like to congratulate the Swift Current Broncos and the Everett Silvertips on advancing to the WHL Championship Series, which opens tomorrow night. We wish both teams the best of luck as they compete for the Ed Chenoweth Cup and a berth, along with the host Regina Pats in the 100th anniversary of the MasterCard Memorial Cup. Everyone in the WHL and the entire hockey community was shaken to the core and deeply saddened by the Humboldt Broncos' tragic bus accident. On behalf of all WHL clubs, our thoughts and prayers go out to all of those directly impacted by this horrific accident, particularly those families who lost their loved ones and to those players who were seriously injured. The WHL is dedicating this year's Bantam Draft to the Humboldt Broncos as these players, like every player in the WHL, love the opportunity to pursue their dreams while playing junior hockey in the West. Our connection is strong with the Saskatchewan hockey system, and the WHL will continue to stand by the Humboldt Broncos in the seasons ahead. Good luck to all WHL clubs in today's draft, and we look forward to welcoming a new group of young prospects to our league very soon. It is now my pleasure to invite the Edmonton Oil Kings Director of Scouting, Jamie Nowakowski, to come forward and make the first selection in the 2018 WHL Bantam Draft.
First of all, the Edmonton Oil Kings would like to congratulate both Everett and Swift Current. Good luck to both clubs. Also, good luck to Regina hosting the Memorial Cup. With this, I'm pleased and honored in honor of the Humboldt Broncos tragedy. Honored to call up Scott Thomas to make our first selection.
Thanks, guys. Jamie and Randy have given me this opportunity to come up and say thanks and then, of course, make the first pick. But I want to thank everybody here today. I think at some point in the last few weeks, I've heard from every organization here via text, via email, via phone call, via flowers to the house. So I just truly wanted to say thank you all for reaching out. I think it was Fred Shero that said hockey is life, and everything else in between then is just filler, waiting for the next game. And from that, fellas, flows hockey is family. And if anything that this tragedy has shown me is that hockey is family. The way you folks have picked us up, my family up, and the entire Humboldt community up and taken us in your arms and held us close to your hearts has just been unbelievable the last 3 weeks. And I truly can't say enough thank you. So from the bottom of my heart, my family's heart, and I think I can speak for everybody in Humboldt, thank you so much for everything you've done for us. With that being said, good luck to everybody here today, and I truly hope that everybody gets the player that they want. With the first overall pick in this year's Bantam Draft, the Edmonton Oil Kings are proud to select from Edmonton, Alberta, center Dylan Guenther of the NAX Extreme it is, I believe. Thank you.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, sorry. Jamie, just want to touch on the class move there to bring Scott up and how much he's meant to your organization.
Well, it's like Scott said, the hockey community is so small and tight and brought everyone together. Scott's a big part of our Oil King family, and it's the least we could do for him, to say the least.
Hopefully, continuing to work and getting back to work will aid in that healing process. But getting to the player you selected now, Dylan, how much of an impact was it that he being from the Edmonton area, maybe getting some extra viewings, impacted your decision to go with him at the first overall pick?
Yeah, you know what? It's always nice to have local talent if they're able to play, and we think Dylan's got an element that not a lot of guys had in this draft. And in saying that, there's still, quite a few good players. It wasn't an easy decision, but we're excited to add Dylan to our Oil King family.
When I look at Edmonton moving forward, you talk about Jake Neighbors, you talk about Matthew Robertson has really come to the fore this year. Where does Dylan fit into the program here for Edmonton moving forward?
Well, I think he's a natural goal scorer, so we look for him to contribute offensively for our club down the road.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Jamie Nowakowski of the Edmonton Oil Kings.
The second pick in the first round of the 2018 WHL Bantam Draft belongs to the Kootenay Ice. I'd like to call up Jake Heisinger, Director of Scouting for the Ice, to make their selection.
With the second overall pick, the Kootenay Ice are proud to select from Winnipeg, Manitoba, defenseman Carson Lambos of Rink Hockey Academy.
Jake, it was widely, I guess, presumed that Lambos would be the first defenseman taken in the draft. What do you like about him?
Well, for us, he really does it all. He can skate, he moves pucks. Just the defenseman we kind of been looking for here, so really excited to get him.
When I look at the NHL draft, a lot of picks are made with that in mind, having bloodlines in hockey. Of course, Jonathan, part of the Victoria to Brandon trade, has agreed to play with the Brandon Wheat Kings, his brother. How much does that play a factor when you're looking at a player?
Well, I mean, it's obviously nice, to know his brothers in the league, but we wanted to get who we felt was our top guy, and we did. So,
thanks so much for your time, Jake Heising, Kootenay Ice.
The third pick in the first round belongs to the Prince Albert Raiders. I would like to call up Ron Gunville, Director of Player Personnel for the Raiders, to make their selection.
Prince Albert Raiders would like to dedicate the 2018 WHL Bantam Draft to the memory of one of our top prospects who tragically lost his life, Adam Harold, in Humboldt Broncos bus crash just a short little time ago. That being said, with the third overall pick, the Prince Albert Raiders are proud to select from Davidson, Saskatchewan, left defenseman Nolan Allen from the Humboldt Broncos.
Ron, I can't help but think about 2012 when you had the third pick, and a guy by the name of Brendan Gooley is now toiling in the NHL, a defenseman. You see any comparisons with this pick at all?
Well, they're both first-class skaters and got good size. Nolan checks all the boxes. He's a local guy. We think he's going to round out to be a very good WHL defenseman and go forward from there.
When you look at Nolan's play this year, what is the one characteristic that maybe impressed you the most when you're projecting him to play here in the WHL?
Well, first of all, his skating ability and ability to join in the rush and create offense, and he also has great size.
Ron, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Ron Gunville, Prince Albert Raiders.
The fourth selection in the first round of the 2018 WHL Bantam Draft belongs to the Calgary Hitmen. I'd like to call up Dallas Thompson, the Director of Player Personnel for the Hitmen, to make their selection.
With the fourth pick, the Calgary Hitmen are proud to select Sean Shergill, OHA Edmonton.
Hi, Dallas. Sean was projected to be the best two-way forward maybe in this draft class. What is it that you and the Calgary Hitmen like so much about him?
Well, just that. He plays a 200-foot game. There's a lot of will in his game in both ends of the rink, so that was very attractive to us.
So, Dallas, when I look at Jeff Chenout taking over as the general manager there and yourself coming in to the situation in Calgary, what is it that you guys had planned to do moving forward from when taking the job to looking down the road here with this Hitman franchise?
Well, obviously it started at the trade deadline. We made some pretty major deals and acquired some very good players that really started to shine after the trade deadline with us. They're a bright future for us, and we also accumulated some draft picks, and we have to do a very good job with those.
All right, Dallas, thanks and congratulations.
Thanks, Sam.
Dallas Thompson, the Calgary Hitmen.
Kamloops has the fifth selection in the first round. I would like to call up Matt Recchi, Director of Player Personnel for the Blazers, to make their selection.
With the fifth overall selection, Kamloops Blazers are very proud to select from Kamloops, British Columbia, Logan Stankoven, Yale Hockey Academy.
Well, Matt, thanks for taking the time. You look at Logan, one of the smaller players. We've seen the NHL and our league oftentimes mirrors what's happening in the NHL, but size doesn't seem to be an issue with Logan.
No, he's a complete player. He's got a sturdy build. He's got great balance, and he's such a competitive, fearless player. We don't think size is an issue at all.
The winningest coach in the WHL is Don Hay. He is your head coach, of course, in Kamloops. When you're looking to draft players, how much are you thinking about Don and his style of play when selecting players?
Well, Don likes players that have a brain and have good hockey sense, and that's what Logan has, and that's what we try to draft throughout the draft, start to finish, and we look to draft smart players that are competitive.
All right, Matt, thanks so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Matt Recchi, the Kamloops Blazers.
The Saskatoon Blades have the 6th selection in the first round of the 2018 WHL Bantam Draft. I'd like to call up Dan Tenser, Director of Scouting for the Blades, to make their selection.
With the 6th overall pick, the Saskatoon Blades are very proud to select from OHA Edmonton and Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta, Colton Dock.
Hi, Dan. The most deliberation of any of the 6 teams to pick so far. What's going on at the table before you're coming up?
Well, lots of conversation this year with a lot of things shifting inside the top 10. So we had just a few discussions going on with teams, but you just want to do your due diligence and make sure nobody's throwing the kitchen sink at you, and that's what it would have taken to move on from the pick. And we were happy to step up and take Colton.
I look at the Saskatoon Blades really starting to build around Kirby Dock, Colton's brother. Eric Florchuk brought in. Those two played together at a younger age in minor hockey. And how much does this kind of complete the circle now to be able to bring in Colton?
Yeah, I mean it's wonderful, obviously, and Colton's a very different player from his brother, which is something that's attractive to us too. I think one of the mandates that we have organizationally heading into the draft here is to get a little bigger, very hard to play against, and Colton's going to have the same size as Kirby and really a bull out there. So tremendous improvement the last couple of years with his game, and he's going to give us an element that Floor gives us speed, and Kirby's got skill down the middle for us, and Colton's going to come in and play a heavy power game for us and fit in nicely.
All right, thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Sam.
Dan Tenser, the Saskatoon Blades.
The 7th selection in the first round belongs to the Red Deer Rebels. I would like to call up Sean Sutter, Assistant General Manager of the Rebels, to make their pick.
With the 7th overall pick, the Red Deer Rebels are proud to select from Calgary, Alberta, center Jaden Grube from the Calgary Bisons.
Sean, thanks for joining us. Grube is a player that, what is it that Red Deer likes so much about him?
Well, he's a guy that can be a scary guy. He's got the skill to go around people, but he's got the power and the physicality to go through people. So those are the type of players we like, and try to build your team up the middle.
I looked at Red Deer through the midway point of the season. We broadcast one of the games on Sportsnet, and it was seemingly a lot of the younger players that were starting to get implemented and starting to get more ice time. Where does Grube fit in this mix?
Yeah, he's a guy that we're looking forward to getting in the lineup, and I think he's the type of guy that might keep a guy like Brent Sutter coaching.
Thanks so much for your time. Sean Sutter, Red Deer Rebels.
The Lethbridge Hurricanes have the 8th selection of the first round. I'd like to call up Rob McLaughlin, head scout of the Hurricanes, to make their selection.
With the 8th overall pick, the Lethbridge Hurricanes picked Zach Stringer from Lethbridge, Alberta.
Really nice to be able to get a hometown product there. Stringer was a guy that some people said had a bit of a challenge in scouting him because he played midget. How is it that you guys were able to hone in on this pick?
Well, I think his numbers that he put up in midget AAA speaks for themselves. And you watch him; he's big, he's strong, he skates. His hockey IQ is through the roof. So it was pretty an easy pick for us.
Cousins, Addison. I'm looking at some of the picks, be it Skinner, first-round picks. Lethbridge has had a lot of success in that area. What do you think that makes it so successful for you and your scouting staff, especially with your first-round selections lately?
Well, you know what? I guess time will tell. And, I think it's a tribute to, you pick kids with a lot of character and they excel in the game. So I think with Zach, we've done a lot of interviews with Zach. He's around town. So, we've had lots of time and between Bob Bartlett and Peter Anholt, they've talked to him lots, and so has myself, and he's full of character, so that's what makes a hockey player.
Thanks, and congratulations on the pick.
The next selection belongs to Prince George. I'd like to call up Bob Simmons, Director of Scouting for the Cougars, to make their selection.
With the 9th overall pick, the Prince George Cougars are proud to select from Airdrie, Alberta, center Craig Armstrong of the Airdrie Extreme.
Hi, Bob. What is it that you like about Armstrong's game?
Well, Craig is a player that has elements to his game that we're looking to add. We want to improve our skill up front, and he does that for us.
Moving forward as the interim general manager, what are the prospects looking like here for Prince George?
Bright.
When I look at your hockey club and where you've come the last couple of years, the one thing that's really impressed me is the ability for the Cougars to kind of look at their organization and really surround the players with the support of having trainers and nutrition and kind of that off-ice support that maybe wasn't there, let's say, 10 years ago. How important do you think that is as part of the selection process?
Well, all elements to a team are important and critical for the success of the organization, and the players and the ownership group of the Prince George Cougars provides us with all those tools and elements.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Seattle has the 10th selection in the first round. I'd like to call up Kel Filson, Director of Player Personnel for the Thunderbirds, to make their selection.
With the 10th overall pick, the Seattle Thunderbirds are proud to select from DeWinton, Alberta, center Kai Ukats of the Okotoks Oilers.
All right, Ron, same question I'm asking everybody. What's the big drawing card here?
Kai's a big, strong center that can put up points, really hard to play against, power forward, can skate really well. He's going to be a good Seattle Thunderbird.
When I look at the switch in coaches from Steve Konowalchuk to Matt, how much does that impact? I've talked a little bit about Don Hay, but how much does that impact the player you're selecting and trying to find him maybe in the image of your coach?
It doesn't affect it a whole lot. We just want to bring in guys that are, they work hard, they good skaters, good hockey sense, and they have some character. And Kai definitely checks all those boxes.
Thanks, Kyle.
Medicine Hat has the 11th selection in the first round. I'd like to call up Carter Sears, Director of Player Personnel for the Tigers, to make their selection.
The Medicine Hat Tigers are proud to select from Regina, Saskatchewan, Cole Sillinger.
Well, Carter, I look at the Medicine Hat Tigers and I think about the consistency in the organization, and now you're an increasingly bigger part of that. How much do you think that's played in the success of the Medicine Hat Tigers and their history?
Well, I didn't have anything to do with that, but I'm very, very proud to be working with that group. I think we've got a great group, and we have had great discussions, and it's been a great year for me. I've really enjoyed it. So,
Cole Sillinger, maybe the best hands available in this draft class. Talk about his game and what are your expectations for Cole here moving forward?
well, the game is all about scoring goals, and as a group, we know and everybody knows that Cole Sillinger can do that. So he was an easy choice for us at this time.
Same question I've asked before, but when it comes to the NHL bloodlines, the son of Mike, how much does that play a factor when you're looking at somebody?
Well, obviously it plays into it because he has a hockey brain and a hockey culture already. He understands what it takes to play in the league. He understands what it's like to be a teammate and to be a leader in the Western Hockey League.
Thanks, Carter.
Thank you very much.
Carter Sears, Medicine Hat Tigers.
Vancouver has the 12th selection in the first round of the 2018 WHL Bantam Draft. I'd like to call up Dan Bonner, Director of Player Personnel for the Giants, to make their selection.
With the 12th overall pick, the Vancouver Giants are proud to select from St. Albert, Alberta center Zach Ostischuk, Northern Extreme.
Hi, Glenn. Nice to see you. I look at the Vancouver Giants with quite the turnaround going back to last year to this year and getting into the playoffs. And what do you kind of attribute that turnaround to?
Well, the last 5 years, there's been lots of draft picks come our way. They've done a good job on accumulating the picks, and now it's up to us to develop the picks. And I think some of our players here, good years from Benson, good years from Ronning, and now we're hoping here to add another centerman.
So Ostapchuk, center iceman, what is it that you like about his game?
Yeah, well, you can't miss his size. I think we all here, everyone in the room agrees that you build down the middle. We look to add here. We drafted a center last year in Justin Sardiff. So big centerman here is always that can skate, move the puck, do the things that we need to do to be successful. We think he'll bring leadership qualities too.
Thanks so much, Glenn.
Thanks.
Glenn Hanlon of the Vancouver Giants.
The 13th pick in the first round belongs to Victoria. I'd like to call up Ryan Ginter, head scout for the Royals, to make their selection.
With the 13th pick, the Royals are proud to select from Victoria, BC, right defenseman Nolan Bentham from Yale Hockey Academy.
Hey, Ryan. I look at the Canadian sports schools, especially out west, and it really seems to be a trend that's starting to take over the hockey world. What is it about the sports school system that makes players successful coming out of there?
I think just the structure and focused development on skill, skating, combined with school.
And when you look at the Victoria Royals and selecting a player from that area, how much do you think that has an impact? Do you really think it has an impact at all, or are you just looking at getting the best player? Or is there maybe some insight to be generated from being able to take someone from the area?
I think it's a combination of things. I think Nolan, we've always been a fan of Nolan. His mobility, his overall game at both ends of the ice. So I think it's the player more than anything.
Thanks so much, Ryan.
Thank you, Sam.
Ryan Gunther, the Victoria Royals.
The 14th selection in the first round belongs to Tri-Cities. I'd like to call up Barclay Parnetta, the Assistant General Manager of the Americans, to make their pick.
The Tri-City Americans are proud to select with the 14th overall pick from St. Albert, Alberta, left defenseman Marc Lajoie from NAX.
Well, good to see you, Barclay. Marc Lajoie, the son of Serge, coached at the University of Alberta. Coach's sons seemingly have that sixth sense about them in the game. What do you like about Serge's son?
Well, it's not just Serge's son, it's Serge too. The character from the family and the character on the ice, it's tremendous. And, you know, we value certain things with our organization as that everyone does. Our criteria and parameters for which we like players, he fits every mark for us.
You know, a bigger guy with size, and whenever I think of the Tri-City Americans, I think of a bigger, heavier team. How does he fit into this plan?
Well, he fits in well to our plan. I mean, we're in a really hard division, and it's a tough division, and we've got to grind it out, and size certainly helps, but we're never going to overlook skill either, but size is important.
Barclay, thank you.
Thanks.
Barclay Pernetta, Tri-City Americans.
The Brandon Wheat Kings have the next selection in the first round. I'd like to call up Darren Ritchie, Director of Scouting for the Wheat Kings, to make their selection.
With the 15th pick overall, the Brandon Wheat Kings are proud to select from Abbotsford, Jake Chason, Yale Academy.
Darren, great to see you. Brandon Wheat Kings, a storied organization here in the Western Hockey League. Talked a little bit yesterday at the awards about Kelly McCrimmon moving on, doing such historic things with the Vegas Golden Knights. You've worked under him a long time. What is it that you've learned from Kelly?
Hard work and, you know, respect everybody, do your job, and things will work out.
With this selection, what are you hoping to get?
We're getting a great leader. This guy does everything. He's got hockey IQ and makes players better.
Talk about being a great leader, and when I look at the NHL draft, so much more of the focus has shifted seemingly not completely away from skill, but character and leadership and those kind of intangible qualities have become a bigger part of the lexicon in the NHL. Would you feel it the same way here in the WHL?
Yes, absolutely. That's how you win, with good people and guys that care.
Darren, thanks so much.
Thanks, Sam.
Darren Ritchie of the Brandon Wheat Kings.
The 16th pick in the first round belongs to Red Deer. I'd like to again call up Sean Sutter, Assistant General Manager of the Rebels, to make their second pick in the first round.
With the 16th overall selection, the Red Deer Rebels select from OHA Edmonton right straw defenseman Kyle Masters.
So Sean, when I'm looking at this second first-round pick, Kyle Masters, is he another player that you think will keep Brent Sutter coaching for a long time?
Well, he's a right shot defenseman. We like the lefty-righty scenario, so righties are hard to find. And he's a guy that improved throughout the year, and he's got some upside, and he's got some offense to his game.
When it comes to the defensive side of the game, which has always been a hallmark of what I feel the Red Deer Rebels have been all about, what is it about that particular part of the game that you like about Kyle's game?
Well, he plays fast, and he can skate, and he can move the puck, and he's got vision, and he's a competitor, too.
Sean, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Sean Sutter, Red Deer Rebels.
I would like to call up Chris Moulton, Director of Player Personnel for the Spokane Chiefs, to make the 17th overall pick in the first round.
With the 17th overall pick, the Spokane Chiefs are proud to select from Abbotsford left defenseman Graham Sword of the Yale Academy.
Hi, Chris. Graham looked to be a guy into the top 10 or 15 picks. Are you happy with this selection and where you're able to get him? Maybe a bit of value pick here for you.
Oh yeah, we're ecstatic. We always say this the same thing. We had him higher, but he's a guy we coveted, didn't think we'd get, and Graham's a polished guy. He's a competitor. He plays against all the big players in that CSSHL division, and yeah, we're ecstatic to have a guy like that on our back end.
So, Chris, I'm sitting there, I'm looking around the room and watching all the deliberations. I'd always love to be a fly on the wall when it comes to a draft table, be it here, the NHL, wherever the case might be. Without getting into great detail, what kind of conversations are you having before you come up and make the pick?
We're talking about what we're having for lunch, usually, and then, you know what it is, it's, we just want what's best for our group, and in our group, I value my guys' opinions, so usually I just go around the room and say, are you comfortable with this? And it's, you know, it's one of those things, we're a team, we build as a team, we work as a team, so for me, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page and we're all buying into what we're trying to pick here, and everybody was really happy, so we're glad that we got the guy.
So what are you having for lunch?
A salad, probably, yes.
All right, thanks so much, Chris. Chris Bolton of the Spokane Chiefs.
Kelowna has the 18th selection in the first round. I'd like to call up Lorne Fry, Assistant General Manager of the Rockets, to make their pick.
I just got to say, I want to congratulate Everett and Swift Current, but in all honesty, guys, I just still got a little bit of that tattoo on me with Swift Current, so good luck, guys, and all the best. And for the people of Swift Current, I think it's great, and they're going to have a great time here. So all the best to those guys. And with that, the Kelowna Rockets select their 18th pick from St. George's Academy, Trevor Wong.
Hi, Lauren. We've seen the Kelowna Rockets have so much success picking defensemen. You go with Wong here forward. What is it that you like about his game?
Well, just about everything. I mean, he's just a dynamic young player and does everything at a high speed and can execute at a high speed. And, you know, if he grows, probably be lights out.
Projected to be a top 10 guy here in this draft. We just talked to Chris from Spokane. They felt like they got a value pick with Swart at 17. How do you feel about your pick here at 18?
Well, we like it, but in all honesty, we got some work to do. So it'll be up to us probably to sell him on our program, and hopefully it works.
Thanks so much, Lauren.
You bet. Thanks.
Lauren Fry, the Kelowna Rockets.
Portland has the 18th pick in the first round. I'd like to call up Matt Bardsley, Assistant General Manager of the Winterhawks, to make their selection.
With the 19th overall pick, the Portland Winterhawks are proud to select from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, center Gabe Klassen, Prince Albert Pirates.
All right, Matt, nice to see you here. You know, we talked a little bit yesterday about Cody Glass and how small he was when he got drafted and how he's grown up in such a way. When you're trying to project 14-year-old players, what is it that you're looking for to the future and where you might project this guy? What's the number one thing in projection?
Well, for us, one thing we look at, one of the key points is hockey sense, and we feel Gabe has one of the highest hockey sense in the draft. When we watched him play, just everything that he does as a center, distributes the puck, sees the ice, slippery player. I think, you know, with a couple of the guys that we had following up from row to Seth Jarvis, Cross Hannes, we think he's going to fit in real good with that group of guys. And so he's a player that we really, really like. We think there's high upside with Gabe.
You know, I've asked this about a few teams and their coaches, but Mike likes to play an up-tempo, offensive style of game. Where does Gabe fit into that situation here down the road?
Well, I think it's the reason why we drafted him, because he fits into that. Gets around the ice, but he thinks quick. Like I said, he's a great distributor of the puck. Sees the ice, coming up the ice. So I think for us to play fast, you have to think fast as well, and he can definitely do that.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Matt Bardsley of the Portland Winterhawks.
Edmonton has the 20th selection in the first round. I would again like to call up Jamie Novakoski to make their second selection of the first round.
With the 20th overall pick, we are pleased to select Keegan Slaney, defenseman, Airdrie Extreme.
Jamie, you look at Keegan, defenseman, big shot. You've had a few of those come through the Oil Kings in your time. What is it about Jamie? Is that a big part of what you're seeing here in the future?
Yeah, it is. You know, he plays a hybrid game. He's good offensively, very competitive, gets the puck up the ice by skating it or making a great first pass.
You look at the Aaron Irving trade that produced this pick for you guys going back to last year. Was there any consideration about having 2 first-round picks and maybe moving one of them?
Yeah, I think so. You know, depending who's there, you're always open, you know, to listening to things. But just at the end of the day, we were excited to have Keegan there and, you know, ended up keeping the pick.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you.
I would like to call up Bob Simmons, Director of Scouting for the Prince George Cougars, to make their second selection of the first round, the 21st pick overall.
With the 21st overall pick, the Prince George Cougars are proud to select for Winnipeg, Manitoba goaltender Tyler Brennan of the Rink Hockey Academy.
Bob, a selection of the goalie in the first round, I think probably the toughest position to try and project. What is it that you like about his game?
Well, we believe Tyler was the best goaltender available this year, and if you look at the league finals with Stuart Skinner and Carter Hart, it's clear that you need a goaltender to get that far, and we think projecting into the future, Tyler could be that goaltender for us.
When you look at goaltenders, and you guys have had some success in that area, how important do you think it is to develop that player yourself as opposed to maybe acquiring that player down the road?
I think it's always best that you develop from within. I think it makes your organization more solid.
Thanks so much, Bob.
Thank you.
Bob Simmons, Prince George Cougars.
With the final selection of the first round, number 22 overall, I'd like to call up Jason Ripplinger, Assistant General Manager of the Moose Jaw Warriors.
With the 22nd pick overall, the Moose Jaw Warriors are proud to select from Winnipeg, Manitoba, left center Eric Allaire, Rank Academy.
Hi, Jason. Good to see you. Eric Allaire, what is it about his game that attracted you to him?
We think he's a powerful forward. He's a good centerman. We need centerman down the ice there. He's got good skill and he works hard.
When I look at all your years with the Vancouver Giants, moving over to the Moose Jaw Warriors, can you give us maybe one insight as to how the philosophy might be different from the two organizations?
Well, it's different. Alan Miller's done a great job. Tim Hunter, just different ideas. He's good for a change.
You know, look at some of these coaches, Tim Hunter with his experience resume as a player at the World Juniors in pro, how much does he impact the selections that you guys make?
Well, I think he's got the presence for the coach, and I think the way he teaches the players and he makes them accountable.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
Jason Ripplinger, Moose Jaw Warriors.
At this time, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome and introduce Mayor Veer of Red Deer, who has been with us for the first round. Welcome here. For the people that have been watching us on WHL Web TV this morning, we'll be exiting now. However, you can continue to watch the draft on whl.ca/draft on our website. All the picks will be inputted as soon as they are announced. And we will take now a 15-minute break, gentlemen. We'll get going again at 9:30. top now? I just, with all the guys coming up,
Got ya.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good if you want
Yeah,
to.
we'll charge. I'll just take it down there
Perfect.
for now.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks, Rick. Once we get that, I get more into the flow of it.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad. And as always, I'm willing to help.
Thank you. We appreciate that very much. Yeah, you bet.
Okay, who's got my iPad? Okay, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, if you could please take your seats, we'll commence. We've been advised that we have a really good following on web TV, so we are going to stay live on TV or on the web as long as we can. Jay, does somebody have my iPad or? He was charging it. We have two trades to announce just prior to the start of the second round. Both involve the Edmonton Oil Kings. Edmonton has traded Nick Bowman and their 6th round pick in this draft to Moose Jaw for Vince Lasciavo. Edmonton has also traded Kobe Moore to the Kamloops Blazers for Quinn Benjafield and a conditional 4th round pick in 2020. The first pick in the second round belongs to the Edmonton Oil Kings.
The Edmonton Oil Kings with our 3rd pick, 23rd overall, select from the Yale Hockey Academy, left winger Kobe Verbicki.
Edmonton selects Kobe Verbicki. Next selection, Brandon.
Brandon selects from Northern Alberta Extreme, left forward Brett Highland.
Brandon selects Brett Highland. Next selection, Calgary.
Calgary Hitmen select with the 25th pick from Kamloops, British Columbia, Yale Hockey Academy, Tyson Galloway.
Calgary selects Tyson Galloway. Next selection belongs to the Kootenay Ice.
Kootenay selects from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Carter Persofsky.
Kootenay selects Carter Persofsky. The Kamloops Blazers have the 5th selection of the second round.
Kamloops Blazers select from the Saskatoon Stallions, right defenseman Logan Barrows.
Kamloops selects Logan Barrows. The Red Deer Rebels have the 6th selection in the second round.
Red Deer selects left shot defenseman Trey Patterson from the Calgary Bisons.
Red Deer selects Trey Patterson. The Kootenay Ice have the 7th pick.
Kootenay selects from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Skylar Bruce.
Kootenay selects Skylar Bruce. The next selection belongs to the Saskatoon Blades.
Saskatoon selects from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, right defenseman Merrick Schneider.
Saskatoon selects Merrick Schneider. The 9th pick in the second round belongs to the Prince Albert Raiders.
Prince Albert Raiders are proud to select from Lloydminster, Alberta, from OHA Edmonton, Tyson LaVenture.
Prince Albert selects Tyson LaVenture. The 10th selection in the second round belongs to the Seattle Thunderbirds.
The Seattle Thunderbirds select from Northern Alberta Extreme Lucas Siona.
Seattle selects Lucas Siona. The Prince George Cougars have the 11th pick of the second round.
The Prince George Cougars select from Winnipeg, Manitoba, left defenseman Hudson Thornton, Rink Hockey Academy.
Prince George selects Hudson Thornton. The Seattle Thunderbirds have the 12th pick.
The Seattle Thunderbirds select from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Connor Roulette.
Seattle selects Connor Roulette. The Lethbridge Hurricanes have the 13th pick of the second round.
Lethbridge selects from Swift Current, Saskatchewan, defenseman Joe Arnson.
Lethbridge selects Joe Arnson. The 14th pick of the second round belongs to the Calgary Hitmen.
Calgary Hitmen, the 36th pick from Airdrie, Alberta, Tristan Zandy.
Calgary selects Tristan Zandy. With the 15th selection, the Brandon Wheat Kings.
Brandon selects from Calgary, Alberta, Calgary Bisons, left forward Dylan James.
Brandon selects Dylan James. The next selection in the second round belongs to the Medicine Hat Tigers.
The Medicine Hat Tigers take from Okotoks, Drew Krebs.
Medicine Hat selects Drew Krebs. The 17th selection in the second round belongs to the Spokane Chiefs.
Spokane Chiefs select in the second round, second pick, 39th overall from Calgary, Alberta, left center, Owen McNeil.
Spokane selects Owen McNeil. With the 18th pick of the second round, the Kelowna Rockets.
Kelowna Rockets select with the second pick, second round, from Langley, BC, defenseman Elias Carmichael.
Kelowna selects Elias Carmichael. The 19th pick of the second round and their third pick in the second round, the Brandon Wheat Kings.
Brandon selects from the Saskatoon Outlaws right defenseman Jacob Hofro.
Brandon selects Jacob Hofro. The 20th pick of the second round belongs to the Everett Silvertips.
Everett selects from OHA Academy, Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta, left defenseman Olin Zellweger.
Everett selects Olin Zellweger. The 21st pick in the second round belongs to the Calgary Hitmen.
Calgary selects with the 43rd pick, Zachary Funk, Vernon, BC, the Yale Bantam Prep.
Calgary selects Zachary Funk. With the final selection of the second round of the 2018 WHL Bantam Draft, the Prince George Cougars.
The Prince George Cougars select from Ardrossan, Alberta, the Fort Saskatchewan Rangers Bantam, Blake Eastman.
To conclude the second round, the Prince George Cougars select Blake Eastman. Just prior to starting the third round, we have a trade. Edmonton Oil Kings have traded Davis Murray to the Kootenay Ice for their third round pick. The first pick of the third round belongs to the Edmonton Oil Kings.
The Edmonton Oil Kings, with our fourth pick, 45th overall, select from the Delta Hockey Academy, Edmonton native defenseman Matt Smith.
Edmonton selects Matt Smith. The next selection belongs to the Vancouver Giants.
With third pick in the draft, and third round pick, goaltender Drew Sim.
Vancouver selects Drew Sim. The next selection belongs to the Calgary Hitmen.
With the 47th pick, Calgary selects from Calgary, Alberta, Mark Pacioretty.
Calgary selects Marek Pacioretty. The next selection belongs to the Edmonton Oil Kings.
The Edmonton Oil Kings, with our 5th pick, 48th overall, select from the Delta Hockey Academy, right winger Carson Latimer.
Edmonton selects Carson Latimer. The 5th selection of the 3rd round belongs to the Kamloops Blazers.
Kamloops selects in the 3rd round Burnaby Winter Club forward Caden Bankier.
Kamloops selects Caden Bankier. The next selection and 6th overall belongs to the Red Deer Rebels.
Red Deer selects centerman from OHA Edmonton, Bantam Prep, Josh Metternach.
Red Deer selects Josh Metternach. Red Deer also has the next selection. Red Deer has traded the next pick, their 3rd round pick, to Seattle for Seattle's 3rd round pick in 2019 and Seattle's 6th round pick in this year's draft 2018. Next selection will be made by Seattle.
The Seattle Thunderbirds select from the Burnaby Winter Club goaltender Thomas Milich.
Seattle selects Thomas Milich. With the 8th pick in the 3rd round, the Victoria Royals.
Victoria Royals, with their 2nd pick, select Maddie Hodson from Saskatoon Outlaws.
Victoria selects Maddie Hodson. With the next selection, the Prince Albert Raiders.
Prince Albert Raiders are proud to select from the Calgary North Stars, centerman Dean Spack.
Prince Albert selects Dean Spack. The Swift Current Broncos have the 10th selection in the 3rd round.
Swift Current Broncos select from Burnaby Winter Club, Finlay Williams.
Swift Current selects Finlay Williams. Medicine Hat has the 11th selection in the 3rd round.
Medicine Hat select from Abbotsford, Liam Vanderkoo, goaltender.
Medicine Hat selects Liam Vanderkoo. With the 12th selection in the 3rd round, the Vancouver Giants.
From Flin Flon, Manitoba, Justin Lies.
Vancouver selects Justin Lies. The Portland Winterhawks have the next selection.
Portland selects from Edmonton an NAX goaltender Lachlan Gordon.
Portland selects Lachlan Gordon. The Tri-City Americans have the 14th selection in the 3rd round.
Tri-City Americans select 58th overall from Lethbridge, Alberta, Carson Haynes.
Tri-Cities selects Carson Haynes. The next selection belongs to the Brandon Wheat Kings.
Brandon selects from Eastman, right forward Cabral Labossiere.
Brandon selects Cabral Labossiere. The Prince George Cougars have the 16th selection in the third round.
The Prince George Cougars select from Airdrie, Alberta, in the Airdrie Extreme forward Ty Mueller.
Prince George selects Ty Mueller. The next selection belongs to the Spokane Chiefs.
Spokane Chiefs select in the third round, third pick, 61st overall from Regina, Saskatchewan, centerman Blake Swetlikoff.
Spokane selects Blake Swetlikoff. The Calgary Hitmen have the next selection.
With the 62nd pick, Calgary Hitmen select left wing, center, defenseman Rory Neal, Winnipeg Hawks.
Calgary selects Rory Neal. The 19th selection of the third round belongs to the Portland Winterhawks.
Portland Winterhawks select from Corona, California, Los Angeles Junior Kings, Ty Murchison.
Portland selects Ty Murchison. The Everett Silvertips have the next selection in the third round.
Everett selects right defenseman from Pacific Coast Hockey Academy, Victoria, BC, Ty Gibson.
Everett selects Ty Gibson. The Prince George Cougars have the next selection.
The Prince George Cougars select from Delta Hockey Academy, Delta, BC, defenseman Ethan Sampson.
Prince George selects Ethan Sampson. The final selection in the third round belongs to the Medicine Hat Tigers.
The Medicine Hat Tigers select from Calgary, Jaden Davis.
Medicine Hat selects Jaden Davis. We have 2 trades just prior to the 4th round. The Saskatoon Blades have traded Curtis Smythe to the Portland Winterhawks for the pick Portland received from Kootenay, which is the 4th pick of the 4th round, now goes to Saskatoon. And the Victoria Royals have traded the 4th round pick that they received from Brandon, which is number 15 overall in the 4th round, to Regina in return for Regina's 8th round pick this year and Regina's 4th round pick in 2019. The first pick in the 4th round of the 2018 WHL Bantam Draft belongs to the Edmonton Oil Kings.
The Edmonton Oil Kings with our 6th pick, 67th overall. Select from Seafair. Left center, Michael Abgral.
Edmonton selects Michael Abgral. The 2nd selection in the 4th round belongs to the Prince Albert Raiders.
With our 4th pick from Saskatoon Generals, right defenseman Adam McNutt.
Prince Albert selects Adam McNutt. The 3rd selection in round 4 belongs to Calgary.
With our 7th pick, 69th overall, the Calgary Hitmen select David Himovich, Phoenix, Arizona.
Calgary selects David Himovich. The 4th selection in the 4th round belongs to the Saskatoon Blades.
With pick 70 overall, Saskatoon is extremely pleased to select from Red Deer, Alberta, defenseman Charlie Wright.
Saskatoon selects Charlie Wright. The next selection belongs to the Calgary Hitmen.
With their 8th pick, 71st overall, Calgary Hitmen select James Gibson, Edmonton CAC.
Calgary selects James Gibson. The Red Deer Rebels have the 6th selection in the 4th round.
Red Deer selects from Melfort, Saskatchewan, right shot defenseman Jeremy Hancock.
Red Deer selects Jeremy Hancock. The Lethbridge Hurricanes have the next selection.
Lethbridge selects from Richmond, BC, Jaden Yu.
Lethbridge selects Jaden Yu. The 8th selection of the 4th round belongs to the Portland Winterhawks. Timeout, Portland.
The Portland Winterhawks select from Gentry Academy, Chaz Lucius.
Portland selects Chaz Lucius. Next selection belongs to the Spokane Chiefs.
Spokane Chiefs select in the fourth round, fourth pick overall, 75th overall from Fowler, Alberta, left defenseman Devin Aubin.
Spokane selects Devin Aubin. The next selection belongs to the Seattle Thunderbirds.
The Seattle Thunderbirds select from Roblin, Manitoba, Aiden Brook.
Seattle selects Aiden Brook. The 11th selection in the fourth round, Medicine Hat Tigers.
The Medicine Hat Tigers select from Prince Albert, Ashton Furster.
Medicine Hat selects Ashton Furster. The next selection belongs to the Vancouver Giants.
Vancouver Giants select from Burnaby, BC, defenseman Nico Camazola, Burnaby Winter Club.
Vancouver selects Nico Camazola. The Moose Jaw Warriors have the next pick.
Moose Jaw selects in the fourth round with their second pick, 78th overall, OHA Edmonton, Josh Hoekstra.
Moose Jaw selects Josh Hoekstra. The next pick will be by the Tri-City Americans.
Tri-City Americans select 80th overall from St. Albert, Alberta, Tyson Greenway.
Tri-Cities selects Tyson Greenway. The Regina Pats have the 15th selection in the fourth round.
The Regina Pats select in the fourth round with their first pick, 81st overall, Jake Snashel from the Bisons in Calgary.
Regina selects Jake Schnashel. The next selection belongs to the Spokane Chiefs. What's that? Looking.
Spokane Chiefs select in the 4th round, 5th pick, 82nd overall from Surrey, BC, goalie Mason Bopit.
Spokane selects Mason Bopit. The next selection and 17th overall also belongs to Spokane.
Timeout.
Timeout, Spokane.
Spokane Chiefs select in the 4th round, 6th pick, 83rd overall from Prince Albert, centerman Logan Cox.
Spokane selects Logan Cox. The next selection is by the Kelowna Rockets.
Kelowna Rockets select with their, what is it, 3rd pick or 4th? 3rd pick from POE defenseman Jackson D'Souza.
Kelowna selects Jackson D'Souza. The next selection belongs to the Portland Winterhawks.
Portland selects from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Dawson Pasternak.
Portland selects Dawson Pasternak. The Everett Silvertips have the 20th selection in the 4th round.
Everett selects from Winnipeg, Manitoba, forward Carter Halmandaris.
Everett selects Carter Helmandaris. The 21st selection in the 4th round belongs to the Saskatoon Blades.
Timeout.
Timeout, Saskatoon. At this time, I would like to just recognize all the members of the media that are with us here this morning and for probably or hopefully the duration of the day.
Saskatoon Blades pick 87th overall, Garen Scher.
Saskatoon selects Garen Scher. The final selection of the fourth round of the 2018 WHL Bantam Draft belongs to the Kelowna Rockets.
Kelowna Rockets select 88th overall from OHA defenseman Noah Dory.
Kelowna selects Noah Dory. Just before we start the fifth round, the Calgary Hitmen have traded Justin Gurney to the Regina Pats for Regina's sixth round pick in 2019. The first pick in the fifth round of the 2018 WHL Bantam Draft belongs to the Kelowna Rockets.
Kelowna Rockets select in the fifth round from Vernon, BC, Steel Queering.
Kelowna selects Steel Queering. Next selection belongs to the Prince George Cougars.
Prince George selects from Long Beach, California, the LA Junior Kings defenseman Aiden Restuck.
Prince George selects Aiden Restuck. The next selection belongs to the Seattle Thunderbirds.
The Seattle Thunderbirds select from Camrose, Sam Popowich.
Seattle selects Sam Popowich. Edmonton has the fourth pick in the fifth round.
The Edmonton Oil Kings with our seventh pick, 92nd overall, select from Red Deer, goaltender Colby Knight.
Edmonton selects Colby Knight. The Kamloops Blazers have the fifth pick in the fifth round.
Kamloops selects with our fifth pick, right winger Matthew Semenoff, Burnaby Winter Club.
Kamloops selects Matthew Semenoff. The next selection belongs to Red Deer.
Red Deer selects from the Norman Wolves, Chase Berthlet, forward.
Red Deer selects Chase Bertholet. Next selection belongs to the Brandon Wheat Kings.
Brandon selects from Rink Hockey Academy, left wing Owen Weiss.
Brandon selects Owen Weiss. The Saskatoon Blades have the 8th selection in the 5th round.
Pick 96 overall, Saskatoon is pleased to select from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Alex Bernauer.
Saskatoon selects Alex Bernauer. The Prince Albert Raiders have the next selection.
Prince Albert Raiders select from the Airdrie Extreme left centerman Brett Moravec.
Prince Albert selects Brett Moravec. The next pick will be by the Lethbridge Hurricanes.
Lethbridge selects from Prince George Fisher O'Brien.
Lethbridge selects Fisher O'Brien. The next selection will be by the Medicine Hat Tigers.
From the Airdrie Extreme, we select Rhett Parsons.
Medicine Hat selects Rhett Parsons. Moose Jaw Warriors have the 12th selection in the 5th round of the 2018 Bantam Draft.
Moose Jaw selects in the 5th round with their 3rd pick, 100th overall, from Beaumont, Alberta, right defenseman Corson Coolmans.
Moose Jaw selects Corson Coolmans. Next selection, the Brandon Wheat Kings.
Brandon selects from Regina Monarchs, left defenseman Logan Hammett.
Brandon selects Logan Hammett. The Tri-City Americans have the next selection.
Tri-City Americans select 102nd overall from the Yale Hockey Academy, Parker Bell.
Tri-Cities selects Parker Bell. The next selection belongs to the Victoria Royals.
Victoria Royals' 3rd pick, 103rd overall, from Pembina Valley, Trenton Crane.
Victoria selects Trenton Crane. The Prince George Cougars have the 16th pick in the 5th round.
Prince George Cougars select from the Rink Hockey Academy in Winnipeg, forward Mike Svensson.
Prince George selects Mike Svensson. The next selection belongs to the Spokane Chiefs.
Spokane Chiefs select in the 5th round, 7th pick, 105th overall, from Prince Albert, right defenseman Chase Friedmore.
Spokane selects Chase Friedmore. The 18th pick in the 5th round belongs to the Kelowna Rockets.
Kelowna Rockets select in the 5th round, 106th overall, from Central Butte, Saskatchewan, Hayden Wilm.
Kelowna selects Hayden Willem. The Portland Winterhawks have the next pick in the 5th round.
Portland selects from Swift's Current, right defenseman Ryan McCleary.
Portland selects Ryan McCleary. The next selection, the Brandon Wheat Kings.
Brandon selects from St. Albert left winger Jackson Dubé.
Brandon selects Jackson Dubé. The 21st selection in the 5th round belongs to Portland.
Portland selects from Yellowknife and Edmonton OHA, Jonah Bevington.
Portland selects Jonah Bevington. The final selection in the 5th round of the 2018 WHL Bantam Draft belongs to the Kootenay Ice.
Kootenay selects from the Airdrie Extreme, Nathan Airy.
Kootenay selects Nathan Airy. We'll commence with the 6th round. The first pick belongs to the Moose Jaw Warriors.